Hi guys, Crescent Moon again. I'm back. I wanted to talk to you today about banishing oil. And banishing oil can be used in several ways. Like, there's not just one way. You can use this in candle magic. You can anoint things, poppets, sachets, not poppets. I guess probably poppets, but sachets, mojo bags, gree bags, articles, items to just put on somebody real quick, be done with them. And the whole point is to be done with them. You're banishing them from your life, or I guess you could banish them from a certain location, your house, whatever. Banish, period. So there's many, many, many ways you can use this stuff. And I was sitting here thinking, because I've already recorded this twice, and every time I rewatch it, I'm like, well, I'm not giving enough information on how to use it. I'm just telling you what it is. Well, it is what it is. It's banishing oil. You can make a banishing powder. You can make a banishing anything. And the components in mine may vary from yours. I was very specific when I made this recipe, even though the reason I made it, I couldn't use it. And sometimes that shit will happen. You'll think about a situation and you'll be like, well, damn, what I did is not going to work now, but it'll come in handy later. And I've done that a couple times where I'll be quick to try and attack something and fix a problem, and then figure out that what I've done is not necessarily going to work in the fashion that I needed to. So, and that's what happened with this one. But tobacco, I looked at my thing and it says tobacco. But banishing oil is exactly what it says. You're wanting to banish and ban someone or, something from bothering you, from having contact with you. It's a barrier wall. Like, stay away. You want to banish them. And you can do something very elaborate with it. Anoint a candle, do a spell, a ritual, whatever. You can do something as simple as take a little small piece of paper or a post-it note, dab a little of this on it, draw a line, fold it away from you, and stick it on their person, put it in their desk at work. Stick it on their car windshield, and you can get as active with it as putting some in a little glass jar and breaking it on their doorstep, breaking it by their car so they have to step on it to get in their car. You know what I mean? Like, you could do whatever with it. But my recipe for mine, and it has an animal thing in it, so if you don't like that, then you might not want to watch anymore. That was your window to leave. So this has snake skin, and here it is. So you can see the snake skin in there. There's a lot in here. It was about, I want to say at least 2.5 feet long that I have shoved in this little bottle. I have salt trio, which is pink, white, and black salt, chili powder, red pepper flakes, black pepper, tobacco, and tobacco oil, which you don't have to use both. I was doubling up because I was a little bit upset when I made this. And graveyard dirt. I have a good dollop of graveyard dirt in here. You can see it naturally settles at the bottom, and it's kind of pretty, but it's kind of not pretty too. So, and here's how things will vary when you make it one time versus the next. I have lavender and mugwort in here. I can kind of understand mugwort, but the lavender, I don't understand why I did that. And I didn't write down why I did it, so I kind of screwed myself. But it is what it is. I also have rosemary and sage in here. I put rosemary in there as another barrier of protection, and sage just to keep it clean from me. And if anybody has a question about what I mean by that, then I'll explain that later. Okay, so the carrier oil is olive oil and grapeseed. And I almost just dropped that sucker straight on the floor. Glad I caught it. And I will not use this until it's gone. I will continue, like if I use it, I will continue to add stuff to it, which is why it's got so much in it. Because when I made it originally, it didn't have but a little bit in there. But as I run out of the actual oil, I will add oil and then add more ingredients and let it fester and add more and let it fester. So, and it's not really like festering, but it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. So, these are just items, right? It's oil in a bottle with herbs, a piece of snake skin, some dirt from a graveyard.
Sorry.
It's okay. And with separately or together, those are just items. They have magical uses and meanings for us as witches, as practitioners. But in the outside world, it's just items, right? So when you break it down and you're doing this kind of stuff, you could literally leave all this stuff out, spit on your hand, smear it. Now, this is not the cleanest or nicest way to do shit. Smear it on paper, fold it away from you, toss it in their direction, and your anger and intention is in that glob of spit, put on that paper that's going to cross their path. You can dumb it down as simple as that. No big deal. You don't need all this elaborate stuff. I think a lot of us use this stuff because, one, it helps. We're building. In our mind and in our physical, we're building. This goes here for this. You're aligning your thoughts and you're aligning everything you're doing into this. That way, everything you're doing, you're creating and you're building and you're stacking. You're putting all that energy into this and that intention into this. That way, it does its job. There again, way back when, you didn't have, a lot of people didn't have that practice, and it came naturally. I've heard stories of people just talking, just putting it out there, and a series of events will happen. And it happens to this day. That is not something, I'm not talking like I've heard stories from 200 years ago, 300, 400 years ago. I'm talking about like 3-4 days ago. Stuff that I've done, stuff that I know that other people have done. It's your intention and it's your veracity in getting it done. Like, you have a mission. You know what I mean? So all that energy is going into what you're doing. But it could be just as simple as writing something down and burning it, or spitting, smearing, tossing. No big deal. You could take a dab of this, get a post-it note, smear it in a straight line. That's your barrier. That's a line in the sand. Do not cross it. Fold it away from you and stick it in their jacket pocket. When they find it, they're like, oh, there's a piece of paper in my pocket. It's in their house. It's in their trash can. You've crossed their threshold with it. You have marked them pretty much and banished them from your life. It's that simple. It can be that simple. And we tend to go over and above, but it's not necessarily needed. It can be just as simple as what I just said. But I like the building process, and a lot of us do, because it just helps align all those thoughts and focuses into what you're doing. You're on a mission. You have to do this, 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 and this. And then there's the scientific part of the brain that's like, oh, well, if I would do this and this and this and this, and you're messing with stuff, and it just becomes interesting at that point. But is it needed? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't need any of that. I'm going to get off this tangent now. Anyway, my pent-up stress is getting to me. If you can tell, I'm thinking angry thoughts at people. Not anybody I care about. I'm just, in general, like, I'm frustrated with stuff at work, and it's coming out in this video. So anyway, all right, well, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know in the comment place that people talk in. And y'all have a good night. And I'm gonna go drink a glass of wine and smoke a cigarette because I'm feeling a little stressed. And I need to go rescue my tomato plant. I think it's swimming probably by now because it's been raining. All right, good night, guys. Bye.